Well, hello, and look at that. We're all in big screen for this one. I can change it around if you find us a little bit too close for comfort. But yes, hello and welcome. This is season 3, episode 22 of the DC United Kingdom podcast. I'm your host, James Graham. As you'll see, alongside me over on the top side, we have Angus, and down at the bottom there, we have Tom. Say hello, gentlemen.
After you, Angus.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, or good night to you, James. It's much later.
Yeah, I mean, it is 10:05 in the evening now.
Yeah, and it's only 5:05 here in beautiful Virginia.
Oh yes. Well, we've got a bit of a packed show this evening for you guys. We have 2 games to catch up on. We've got a little bit of news because we've had some investments, we've had Team of the Week stuff, new table, obviously, and then we've got the game this weekend, which we've down in sunny Florida. And I need to check out what the weather's going to be like. So, yes, we shall see what we've got in store. So, first up, as always, we're going to do a little score prediction league update. I know, Angus, you gave your prediction for the Cincinnati match last week.
I don't think I was right.
I mean, it was a good game.
It was.
No, I don't think many people got. I think in the DC,
we got the outcome correct.
We got the outcome. I think everybody got the outcome correct.
Yeah.
If you didn't get one,
I was going to say, I think we were all like 3-1.
Sorry, it was like 2-0, 3-1s, and all that jazz.
Yeah. I don't think anyone called them scoring twice in 5 minutes, but you know,
in the Discord group, I think there was someone who called 4-2, wasn't there? If I remember.
I don't know. I'm gonna check. I can check. Yeah. Well, no, because it's all gone now.
It gets cleared, doesn't it? But I'm sure cleared. There was someone who mentioned it.
Somebody, I don't know if somebody said 4. There was a 4 thrown in there.
Yeah.
Somebody said we were going to score 4. I just don't know if they got Cincinnati's correct or what. So.
But yeah, it was a great game, and then obviously the midweek game against Minnesota, I got correct. So I'll take that one for. I think that's the first time all season I've managed to get one actually correct.
I got the result correct there too, just not the.
No, I've got the scoreline on that one.
Yeah, I know you aced it. I did not.
I can't even remember what I guessed, to be honest.
You put 2-1. Yeah, but you know,
I'll take 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
Look, Minnesota was not their healthiest lineup. They were playing an unfamiliar formation. They were just asking to get beaten, and we obliged.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we needed to win that game big time.
Yes,
because if we didn't win that, that was going to be a massive question.
We would have all been, we would have been on the playoffs looking out, and yeah.
But yeah,
we'll get into table talk later.
Yeah, I mean, we got table talk right now. That's the first thing that's on the agenda.
Please.
Whilst I kick some stuff. Right, so we're third in the East, which is absolutely fantastic. When you consider back in 2018 when we opened up Audi Field, we had that crazy run at the end where I think we had like 8 home games in a row, and we still only managed to finish 4th. Yet now we've got a brand new head coach, a roster who last year finished 10th in the East, and yet we're now 3rd.
Brand new system too.
Brand new system. Adjacent. I'll call it 3rd adjacent for now. But
I mean, it's very tight. It's the tightest I've ever seen the East for a long time.
It could all change tomorrow, but
exactly.
It's third. Let's live in the moment.
Because we're 3rd with 40 points right now, and then everybody down to 8th has 39, and Philadelphia has a game in hand. So
true. But they've got to win that.
If we're playing bracketology, if we can pick up the 3 points today, if we don't play over the international break, all we would need is for Philly to drop points against either Columbus or Cincinnati, because they don't play Saturday.
Probably not Cincinnati.
No, I was going to say probably not
Cincinnati.
But Columbus.
Cincinnati.
Columbus. And I'd like to point out it'll be Cincinnati with their second game with a new head coach. We obviously got them kicked. We obviously got their first coach kicked. But
I mean, that's our thing.
It's like a half week, right? So it's like a short turnaround, and it takes time. It took time under Chad Ashton. It was a loss, then a draw, then a win, right?
Yeah.
So if we're following that aspect of things with interim head coaches, then in theory, that win is going to come against come against Philly. So
I mean,
Yeah, I saw that the Chicago coach got fired, and I quickly checked, and I was like, I don't think DC United just played them. I'm like, what?
after a 2-0 win over NYCFC,
Yeah,
you're
they're
going
like,
to
oh,
fire
by
your
the
head
way.
coach.
don't even get me started. That reminds
Chicago
me of
is, we want to talk about poorly run organizations. We can
No.
talk all we want about the Chicago Fire.
But it's Gareth Southgate. We know who he is, and the legend of an England manager that he is right now. But back in his first coaching role with the Borough, we were second in the table, and we sacked him because the attendances were dropping.
That is possibly why the Fire let go of their coach.
I mean, that's how Louis Van Gaal got fired. He won the FA Cup, and then we were like, all right, well, time to go.
It's just there's some decisions that genuinely just don't make any sense. Granted, Southgate got us relegated.
It's definitely just backroom conversations that we
there's
don't
something
get
that
to be a part of.
Yeah, there's something's gone on in the background, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing well in the being third in the table. We've got so many games. I've lost count now. Is it 7 games left now?
We're at 6 left. So
Yeah.
6 left.
6 left. Philly has 7
So-
left. I think they're the only team in the East that has a game in hand that's in the playoff race. Anyways.
Yeah.
So that's a very this game against the Cincy game coming up for them has conference wide ramifications. So these next 2 games for Philly, pay attention to those just almost as closely as you're paying attention to DCU.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I've noticed a lot on Twitter is about how far away New England are in the supporters' shield. But then I looked at it, and Seattle have got 3 games in hand on them, which would then, if they won those 3, that would
That's
put them
12
only.
points. Oh, it's 9 points. Yeah.
They would only put them 6 points behind New England, so that's then suddenly
A race.
very turnaroundable.
It's a lot, though. It's going to be true.
It's a
MLS
huge amount.
fashion where they're going to get those games to be scheduled, and it's going to be like bang, bang, bang. I mean, if they win all 3, great for them. I mean, I don't personally see it, though.
No.
Seattle's got a good team. Jordan Morris is back in practice. I don't think we'll see him. It's a similar situation to Paul, right? He got injured during preseason.
Yeah.
Similar timetable. If they really wanted to push it, but they're a playoff team. DC was not. He's a playoff guy. He's going to be back in for the playoffs. But always in the back of your head, kind of like how we're thinking about Brendan Heinzike and Perez. Which, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have put Perez in the same conversation.
I like how Heinzike tricked all of us.
Yeah.
He posted that picture of him with his boots on, and I was like, "He's back! He's back!"
It's time.
And then, of course, not even in the squad, not even in it. I was like, "Come on!"
It's good. It's good that he's back on grass. That's important.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather he take his time at this point and just be ready for playoffs.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Assuming we make playoffs, because again, a bad result against Orlando this weekend could mean we're sitting in 8th, 9th.
Yeah,
and a good result means we stay in 3rd. We don't know.
Exactly. I just want to say hi to a couple of guys who just joined us in the chat. Keenan, good afternoon to you. I mean, yes, it is good afternoon because you're on the West Coast. So it's 10 past 3? God, I wish it was that time for me. But then saying that, I'd actually be in my job interview right now if it was that. And hello to Josiah, who wants to go to a playoff game at Audi. Who doesn't?
Only ever been one.
My last one was the Columbus Crew one. So
that's the only one that we've had at Audi, isn't it?
Yeah. So I need something different because that was disheartening.
It was a great game. It was
heartbreak.
From a neutral point of view, it was a phenomenal game to watch.
From a DC fan, until the penalty shootout, it was an amazing game.
The DC penalty shootout was one of the worst I've ever seen.
De Leon went from 0 to 0 in the span of 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I remember Acosta missed.
Rooney missed.
I was like, "This is your job. This is your only job."
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was 3:30 in the morning when that happened, and I'm just sat there.
Yeah, it's the only game that I have even thought that I even consider that I've gambled on because I had bought tickets to the home leg of the waiting for us after their bye Red Bull DC United two-legged tie because it was 2018 playoff
Yeah.
format. So I'm sitting there with stakes on the line. When Fred Briant scored, I went crazy.
Yeah.
When Higuain scored to level it or to put us down, I was like, I was flipping things. I was mad. And then De Leon's wonder strike went in, and I'm running around the room going crazy. Only for us to lose in that penalty shootout. Oh,
that was a tough game. And Higuain, it was weird because then when he came and joined DC, and I was like, I remember you. It's like, aren't you that guy?
He's a league legend. Yeah, Pipa Higuain is a league legend, and in terms of MLS lore, he will go down well in hands and feet and whatever above his younger brother, I guess. I don't know which one's older, but Pipa sure looks older.
I think Pipa is the older one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 99% certain that
he looks like 34. Yeah. And then Gonzalo is 32. But I mean,
there's a middle brother who's their agent. So
very busy period, few years then for the parents.
Yeah. What?
Obviously, we weren't married at that point.
That was the whole reason behind the Gonzalo to DC United rumors back in the day, was because their other brother is both of their agents. So when we're talking to one, we can theoretically be talking to the other at the exact same time.
Yes,
so that was the whole.
I am not a fan of Gonzalo Higuain.
Not in MLS or not.
Not in life. To be. So I mean, it would have been having Rooney is one thing. He was like my childhood hero, but I don't know about Gonzalo. I don't know.
Well,
better or worse than Kamara.
Knowing what he. Hey, Golden Boot leader.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
I'll be the first to admit I was not impressed at first, and then I'll eat my shoes. Like
ninth in all-time DC United scoring.
Yeah,
it's just mad.
It's either level with Lucho and Quintana, or has passed both of them. Quatrana, I can't pronounce the other guys. I apologize to him. A homegrown player, and I'm sorry.
Right.
It's just mad. So the race to the playoffs then. Let's just have a quick look through the rest of the fixtures. So obviously, as we mentioned, we've got Orlando this weekend. Then we've got the tough fixture against Nashville, which is going to be huge for our season.
Yeah.
That is at Audi, though, so that's decent. And
all the games currently where the standings are right now, right? All the games where we play teams above us are at home.
Yep.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good home record this season, too.
We've got a cracking home record. It's our away record.
That's in the East at home, but we're like 11th.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Nashville, how quickly we fell apart. In that game.
We did have Kempen in goal.
Well, yeah. Somebody couldn't catch a ball.
I mean, you could take 2 goals off of that, but I mean,
you could take 3. Really, come on.
You could take 3. The bar down Mukhtar goal, which is a great goal, and all the credit to him. It was great.
Yeah.
Kempen jumped early. He jumped way too early for that ball.
Yes.
He got chipped. Like, all he had to do was stand on the line because it was a chipped ball. All he had to do was stand on the line, and it wasn't going in because it went off the underside of the bar at that.
That was the most frustrating month or so. I think.
It was, yeah. When Hamida's out, it's just
it's like
if we sit on the outside of the playoff race in a month's time, we can look at
we're going to blame
that
Kempen.
month of John Kempen and think about
absolutely.
the drop points.
Yeah,
because again, we played in that span. We played both Nashville and New England.
Yep.
Ugh.
And I'd like to point out we've played New England twice this year. The first time was the second game of the season, and we lost on a Brendan Hines-like own goal. The second time, we went up early again, and that was the goal where Paul Arriola pulled his hamstring and was out for a solid 3 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of they've been one-sided, really. It's been close.
Yeah.
It's been tight. So we're definitely, and it's weird to say this, we're definitely up there with the best in the East at the moment. Being third is no fluke.
Any team. We can play and challenge and hang with the best of them in this league.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Orlando, Nashville it's the 16th of October, but on my list, because it's got the right time zone, it's the 17th. Then we've got New England at Audi, and then we then play New York City FC
Away
at Red Bull.
Yep.
Because they like to play wherever they can, except at
They're
actual
getting
home.
bumped. Yeah, they're getting bumped for the vaccine clinic still, I believe. So
It's just crazy.
go get vaccinated, New York City fans, and then maybe your team will play at your home stadium.
What? A New York team playing in New York?
I know. There's only 2 of them at the moment. At the moment, there's only 3, maybe 4 of them.
I mean, is it David
There's
Villa's team who actually play in New York?
Oh, I forget the basketball team. So it's 6. It's the Islanders, the Rangers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Nets, because they used to be the New Jersey Nets, then they were the Brooklyn Nets, then they were somewhere else, and now they're the Brooklyn Nets again.
They became the Brooklyn Nets, but they were still playing in New Jersey for a while.
Right. and then there's also the Knicks. So there's 6 teams that play in New York City, but there are 4 or 5 teams that claim to be New York teams that play outside of New York City.
And most of them are owned by the same guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Mm.
And one of them's owned by the City Football Group. So
Yep.
Saying that about New York, the game after the NYCFC is against the other New York team, Red Bulls. And that is
at home.
It's October 28th. Come on, get it right. My time.
Oh, sorry. For you, yeah. For me, when I'm going to the
international podcast.
Stadium,
Yes, come on.
I'm going to the stadium on October 27th. You might be watching the game on October 28th, but I'm going to the stadium on October 27th.
Oh, it pains me when I look at the fixture list and it's like 12:30 a.m., 12:30 a.m., 12:30 a.m. It's just like, come on, give me a different time. But yeah, after the New York game, then we're at home to Columbus on Halloween.
Yeah, for us, it's Halloween's Eve.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to wear a costume for you, James, because it'll be Halloween for you.
I'll appreciate that. And then
that should be a punishment for the Predictions League, because they have to go to the stadium in
fancy dress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better than the Red Bulls jersey. Again.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final game of the season, Toronto. At BMO Field, so we'll actually be back up in Canada. So, looking at it, it is a bit of a
game in Canada.
I know, right?
Because we played Montreal away, but that was before the Canadian border was open.
It was, yes, yeah.
Because that was when they were still playing at Miami Stadium.
Yeah, in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, so it's the only.
It was such a weird.
It was weird.
It's the only time we've played a Canadian team in Canada this year, and I might add that was the first time Losada has ever had a 0-0 draw. That's when we played the Canadian team away. So hopefully not a repeat. But
yes. I mean, to be fair, when we played Toronto last time, it was a bit one-sided.
Yeah, you could say
Can't imagine it's going to be like that again, but
you never know. They are.
You never know.
Swishing around that drain at the bottom of the East. So
yes, but looking at it, so our next 4 games are big games because we're playing teams around us.
4 games, yeah.
And then when you look at the last 3, so we have got 7 fixtures left. When you look at the last 3 fixtures, that realistically they're games that we should be winning. There shouldn't be any other result apart from a win on those ones. So as long as we can get through the next 4 unscathed, whether the draw 10 points on the next 4 games would be amazing, I think. If we end up with 7, it's not the end of the world, I think. But then we win the last 3 games, and I think we'd be sitting quite rosy with a home playoff match.
The way our schedule's lined up, the way our schedule is set, it's set for DC to succeed.
Yeah.
We've only got 2 more road games. The rest are at home.
Yeah.
Granted, there's a lot of midweek games in there, but
that's not a huge travel, though, really.
No. On the midweek, it's not a huge travel at all.
No.
Because I don't think there's an away midweek game. Although
the only one is the NYCFC one, isn't it?
So we go midweek to midweek? Or is there a game in between?
So we've... Hang on, let me just work this out. I know the NYCFC is the weekend game. Sorry, my bad.
So the only there's no midweek travel anymore.
No.
Which is good. Which is great for, the way game days work for an individual, I would assume.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all shakes out. This game, probably the single most important game, looking at how the only team that has a game in hand at the current standings that could jump us is coming up, right? So the only time you can get I look at the most important games for our standings as the next two, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. DC this season has played great the game before an international break. So
yeah,
it looks decent for Orlando. But it's the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. It'll be the unstoppable force in DC before an international break versus the immovable object in DC in the marble jersey. So
yes. I mean, I'm going to blame Tom because he bought one.
I bought one too.
To be fair, I bought one as well. So
I've got two of them. I didn't buy one of them, but I got two of them.
True. I mean, I do like the marble jersey, though. I know
it's
split opinions, but I love it.
I like it.
Me too.
It's grown on me.
What Adidas and MLS are doing for the second kit, so the second jersey, they've shifted it from being an away jersey, which is where we were getting the bland white ones.
Yeah.
And they've shifted it to now, this is their terminology for everything, right? It's a community kit,
yeah.
Right? So that's why we're getting the Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze jerseys in Seattle, the throwback jerseys in LA, the marble jersey here in DC.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see some better ones coming soon. Fingers crossed that the rumors are all true.
Cherry blossom.
At this point,
I want that cherry blossom one.
there's no changing it. So whatever happens over the next year and a half, it was already in place.
Oh yeah,
so if somebody else were to come out with a cherry blossom, the Washington NWSL franchise, because we're not going to talk about NWSL today.
No.
I don't want to get into that. It's been a rough week. I just don't want to vent.
It's been a rough, long time for that.
Yeah,
but yes.
But the Washington NWSL franchise, if they come out with one, Adidas can't change. There is no pivoting. There's no changing course. Also, the crossover between the two teams surprisingly isn't as big as you might think. So, hopefully we see it. I want it. I'll buy it. I'll be first in line at the team store.
I mean, if
I'll wait up.
Comes out with a cherry blossom jersey on that straight away. So
yeah, that's an immediate order.
Yeah. Victor just saying, as long as our next kits aren't those terrible generic MLS ones half the teams use. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Well, not a fan of those with the 3 stripes.
Okay, that's different because that was a league-wide initiative to celebrate 25 years.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's the closest DC United can ever get to the 3 stripes on the center of the jersey ever again because of the team sponsorship on the center of the jersey. The only other time it might happen is next year because we don't know what the sponsorship's going to look like next year.
It's true. Fair point.
And all indications
look
like
I just did not like them.
I like it. I think the full uniform is one of the best full uniforms DC's had in a very long time.
I do love the red shorts.
The red shorts pairing with the red sleeves, nice. I think that looks great.
Yeah.
I hope we keep the red shorts. We need to keep it. It was an original uniform piece. I want to keep them. Should put the 3 white stripes across the red shorts again. That was great.
Yes. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Right. I know we've talked about other things that weren't on the agenda, but that was good. That was good, though. Next, the second bit on the agenda. I know we're 26 minutes into the show, but we've only made to the second point.
Went from standings to jerseys, so do the mental gymnastics on how to get to there, and you'll probably take 26 minutes.
Exactly. Losada and Nahar in Team of the Week. So that's always good news.
Team of the midweek.
Nahar was awesome.
He was.
And Losada, it's about time we got a Coach of the Week.
It's his second Coach of the Week award of the season. I want to say he got
one in the beginning of the season.
I think he got it after. I want to say he got it after the 7-1 win.
I mean, it wouldn't be.
If he didn't, that'd be a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's like this guy literally just coached 7 goals past the team.
Right.
Give him Coach of the Week.
I mean, he needs that. It's just I don't know. I'm just going to quickly go back to the chats. Our colour scheme can't be beat. Love black and red, obviously. I mean, if you don't love our colour scheme, then why do you follow us? That'll be a bit weird.
Because you're a DC fan?
Yeah, true. And I'm just going to highlight this comment because it's a fellow fan in the UK just commenting, and he says, I'm the real UK DC fan.
That's Ross.
Are you Ross?
He's from Scotland. He's from Scotland. I can
Ross
confirm.
from
He's in
Scotland.
Scotland.
Ross, we need to
Friends
have words,
with him on
mate.
Twitter.
We need to have words, mate, because we're all real fans. Come on, we're in this together.
Tom, he's a Manchester United fan as well. So
Oh, then he's not a real fan. He's not a real fan.
Just when we're playing well, right?
oh no, don't tell him that. Don't tell him he's a bandwagon fan.
Oh, glory
We
support.
make fun of him on Twitter for that all the time because he's a Bills
Glory.
fan as well in the
Oh,
NFL.
no.
So
We'll take what we can get at this point. So
Yes. Other bits on the news, just to kind of go through it. It's obviously there was the rumors of Yo Gotti investing in the club. I think that was a few weeks ago, but now it's been. Sorry,
I had a scoop on that one.
Oh,
I was in the stadium when they were doing all the announcement and pressing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that message.
Yeah.
I was in the stadium. I got to actually say a word to him as he walked by, and I said, "Thank you for your investment, and thank you for joining the group." And he actually kind of gave me like a thanks. Like he said, "You're welcome."
He
man.
actually acknowledged.
He acknowledged me because I was within 3 feet of the guy. I would hope. He would
I mean, yeah. Yes. Just before we go on to the next bit, go back to the comments. Happy London Marathon and DC United 3rd place in the East weekend. Let's beat Orlando tomorrow. Absolutely. Thank you, Brian.
London Marathon. My dad went to London Marathon like years ago.
I could not do it.
Oh, he's always like, get yourself and train and we'll do it. And I'm like, look, Dad, I do like spending time with you. But
I volunteered at the Marine Corps Marathon in DC a couple of times, which is always around Halloween. I could never do it. You always think like, I could probably do this. But then you realize that the people that you're helping out have been there have been running for 4 hours. And you're like, I can't do that.
My dad is a psychopath. So like 9 years ago, he had a heart attack, right? And then he was like, okay, now that like life's too short, I'm going to start doing marathons and triathlons. And
it's probably been great for his heart rate.
Yeah, that'd be great on his heart.
Yeah. It's pretty healthy for your heart.
Yeah, fair play to him.
I was like, man. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, London Marathon, great. Yep. Traffic is terrible, but it's great.
Yep. Traffic's always terrible. It's a major city.
Yeah.
True.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I could not live there. David just says, help. I can't remember how to become a paid member of DC UK. Please remind me when you have a chance. Well, David, I will remind you because there's a particular way you can do it. It's coming up on screen right now. If you want to come and join us at DC UK, just head to dcunitedkingdom.com/membership. I mean, there is a free option if you want to come and join us for free. There's no difference. But if you want to become a paid member and help us support the show so we can continue doing things like this, as well as obviously running the website and all that jazz, it all costs money. That would be fantastic. So please come and join us.
Plus, you get a pretty shirt.
And you get an exclusive shirt as well, which is pretty sweet. And David, yours will be on the way very shortly because I know you resubscribed. Ross, he sat through Benny Ball. Yeah, so did I. Can't claim on that one. Benny Ball was awful. Albert says respect Benny Ball.
Well, we can respect it for when it was working. And when prime Benny Ball, like those prime Benny Ball years where, and Albert said it himself, where we're winning the U.S. Open Cup, but simultaneously coming last place in the league by a record margin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was prime Ben Olsen for his coaching career, right?
Yeah.
And it was the duality of Ben Olsen.
No, but then you look at the season after 2014, record points in the league.
Right, exactly. And we're Eastern Conference champions. But that's the beauty of Benny Ball, right? The whole point of Benny Ball was let's take a very small market team, a team that should be finishing last place in the Eastern Conference by a record margin, right? And get them going and get them. It's the Vegas Golden Knights making the Stanley Cup final in their first year because the coach
series, by the way.
The coach just told them straight up, hey guys, the whole league said, we don't want you. Your teams did not want you. Let's show them why they should have wanted you. And then they went out there and they made it to the Stanley Cup final.
Okay.
That's the exact same thing. That's what Benny Ball was, and that's what Benny Ball is.
Yeah, true. And then Ross just piping up there, just saying last season was rough. Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was someone who thought that if it wasn't for Rooney, he probably should have been fired the year before.
He got an extension.
He saved his
got an
job.
extension in 2018.
Yep.
Never forget that. That also got extended in 2018.
Crazy.
Yes, but hey, lovely guy. Had him on the show last year. Absolutely amazing dude.
Nice guy, man.
Yeah.
And
now he's an NWSL with the Washington team. That's there.
Yes,
so,
the Washington franchise.
Yes.
Washington NWSL franchise. And we're just going to leave it at that.
Yes, we're going to leave it there. Just other investors that we've had in there: Adam Jerry, Jake Silverstein, who's a co-owner of Swansea City. Obviously, we're continuing that link there.
Ties.
And Joe Mamo, who was owner of the Houston Dynamo and Houston Dash, but he's from Washington. He's from DC, so coming back to his roots. So
look,
all
anything
good.
to get the roof built, I'm happy about. And if it's
never going to happen.
It will.
It's not going to happen.
It will.
You can dream.
It'll eventually happen.
The weather. I mean, the weather can be bad here, but it's not like we need to shut the roof.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm not saying we'll ever have a full roof, but the roof scaffolding, the framing of the roofs, that'll be finished at some point. Maybe. I hope.
I like your confidence.
Yes. He knows how the confidence
comes. Yeah, it just dropped. It just it's like a roller coaster. I'm like,
it will be. I hope so. Maybe.
No, definitely not.
In my dreams.
Yeah. In all the renderings. In all the buzzard point renderings.
In my fake Photoshop.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Last two bits of news because it's non-DC United related, but I thought it's good to call it out. So Joseph Martinez has become the fastest player to reach 100 goals in MLS history.
On a penalty.
I mean, yes. I mean, there's some penalties in there.
Penalty merchant. Just going to say.
But, you've got to score them still. Still got to score them.
Yeah, I know. But to all the people who are claiming Kamara's golden boot is invalid due to his penalties, they're the same people that are bigging up Joseph Martinez for hitting 100 goals in the fastest time.
Yeah.
Yes. There was. Let's just move away from that because penalties are penalties.
Penalties are goals. Goals are goals.
There has been a trophy that is come back to MLS, which is the Campeones Cup. Columbus won that 2-0 against Cruz Azul. So fair play on that. I mean, they were the only team that weren't playing on Wednesday evening, so which is weird. But having a full midweek calendar there, that was insane.
Well, they already had the game up, so that was their game off.
Yeah,
their match day off. Yeah, so we're getting late. There's World Cup qualifying right around the corner. MLS has got to get games in somewhere.
Yes, because classic MLS scheduling.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't help that there was the pandemic and there was and there was the Olympics and there's World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, but
still, it's too much going on. But
yes, it is what it is. We're used to it by now. So right.
Summer of soccer has moved into the fall of football.
Oh, I kind of like that. Fall of football. That's what we should have named this episode. Fall of football.
Well, no, that's going to happen when the Super League. When the Super League actually happens, then you call the episode "The Fall of Football."
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Or for you guys, it's the autumn of association football. There we go. There's the alliteration for you.
Really,
for you Brits.
Yes, because it's football and autumn, the proper terms. Right. Anyway. Let's do some match talk, actual football talk. So since the last show, we've had the two games. The first one was against FC Cincinnati. Just again, as always, run through the kind of the little stats on there. So obviously we won 4-2. Possession, 45.7% for us and 54.3% for them. We had 19 shots on goal in total to their 15. We did have 8 on target to their 6. Offsides 4 apiece, fouls quite even as well, 13-12, and expected goals 2.8 to 1. But I do want to say how good the keepers were, even though there was 6 goals in it. It could have been so many more goals in this game.
Both goalies played very well in that game, which helped Cincy out tremendously, right? Bill, obviously, he's doing the goal saving saves that you see every game. He doesn't look like he skipped a beat since his hamstring pull the last time. No, right. No, the last time, the game after it was the Cincy game, was because we played both Ohio teams, and it was in the Columbus game.
Yeah.
It was weird because we played both Ohio teams away, and because of COVID, we went back to DC in between.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Bizarre. Things that we need to really talk about. I mean, the first one I want to talk about, which isn't the first bit on the list, by the way, is that Roberta goal. Because that was, from my viewpoint, obviously watching it on the broadcast, you hear Devon just saying that it was, you saw the flag going up, so it's like, oh, that's it. But when you watch the replays, there was no whistle.
Play to the whistle, kids. Play to the whistle.
That was the classic. Always play to the whistle. I mean, they just stopped and they were like,
Yeah.
And Roberta Baggs is third in the year.
Being him, he just took advantage.
Oh, well, that's it. Yeah, and it was strange because I didn't know what to expect when they said, "Oh, it's going to VAR," and I was thinking, well, the ref knows when he blew the whistle, obviously, but when we were watching it on the broadcast, you don't know whether he actually blew the whistle or what had happened. So I was just like, right, it's gone, check, it's onside. Now, does he pull it back because the players are stopped? But then they should be playing to the whistle. They should always be doing that. But then the flag has been raised. So can you call it back because the flag was raised and that's why the players stopped playing?
Personally, I think the flag was raised prematurely because you're supposed to let the play finish. Because the goal scoring opportunity had not finished when the flag was raised.
Yeah.
But I thought refs were instructed to keep it down for that exact reason.
I know in England they have the rule now that if the ref is like so sure that it was offside, he can put it up because players are getting so upset about running, booking it down the line, and then they get to the ball and it's like, oh, by the way, offside.
Yeah,
it's
frustrating.
I mean that's frustrating, but you also want to make sure that these refs are not calling it too early because that's chances missed.
Yeah. Literally the fourth goal. That was the fourth goal that put the game to bed as it turned out to be because we let it
done.
A 3-2 versus a 4-2 when that Lucho goal goes in is a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, when they brought it back to 4-2, that's another thing that obviously I've got on the list. There is the fact that we were leading by 4 goals. Then it went to 4-2, and that was the 84th or the 87th.
Was when it was 84th when the second goal went in. And that's what it's credited on the score sheet, anyways.
And for me, that was just like, oh no, we're gonna throw it away. How are we gonna? This is, and my heart just started to sink.
But see, that's the difference between Losada and Ben Olsen.
It is.
The teams fight till the end.
Yeah, we saw the game out.
Not discrediting the Olsen teams either. There was plenty of fight in them, but there were plenty of late game chokes.
Yeah, a lot of points up.
The other bit, obviously, Costa scoring on his return, but did the gentleman thing and actually didn't celebrate. He just walked up back onto his side of the field, which I thought was a nice touch, not to celebrate in front of the fans, because I think if he did, I don't know what you would have got. You guys would you guys booed if he celebrated, or? I
mean, the way I look at the Acosta, he gave a lot to the club. He was great with the club. And, to be fair, DC United kind of did him a bit dirty, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Him almost going to PSG, and he flew there. And because of, I think it was like 1.6 million, then DC United said, no, we're not going to do that. And, he was disheartened, and he ended up having a crap season going back to Argentina.
Yeah, I don't know the full behind-the-scenes story on that because there were plenty of
conflicting
reports that came out at the same time.
Yeah, but, I mean, my view on it is he's a guy who gave a lot for the club.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Yeah, and the fact that he didn't celebrate after DC United sort of having that chance, having that option. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him, but
he's had an up and down couple of years since 2018. I think 2018 is the peak of him.
Yeah,
that's the peak of his cycle with a team. You look at what happened in Atlas. You look at what's happening in Cincinnati, and I think the environment always changes that. I don't go as far back as Boca because I've never really watched Boca, but I followed him at Atlas, and I followed him. And we've been following him at Cincy this year, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's been good for Cincy, but there were flashes in that game where you saw 2019 frustrated Lucho come on out. There was the bit where he was like throwing the ball on the ground and like storming off and stuff like that. And there was the bit where he switched defenders only to find it wasn't easier on the other side. In the first half, he was going up against Andy Nahar because Andy Nahar is short and he thought he could just get around him. Andy Nahar puts in a very hard crunching tackle. And so he switches to Donovan Bynes and doesn't really find much better luck until the second half.
I was going to say, which
But yeah, you're right. We did see 2019 Acosta, and I think we needed to play on that as well. Because when you look at what he does, when he gets frustrated, he
shuts down
deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's what we saw in that game, is the fact that he was going back into his own half, trying to get the ball and do something with it. But you can't really do much from back there.
Yeah.
So,
and when he first came to DC United, that's what we needed of him, right? Yeah. We needed the guy to do it all by himself because 2016 DC United didn't really have anybody else. Then 2017 we had Knaus and we had Areola. 2018 we had Rooney and we have Lucharu.
Yeah.
And then 2019 we have the situation, the botching.
Yeah.
And
God, that was such a bad season.
That was yeah.
Still made the playoffs, which we didn't do last year.
Like,
yeah, damn. Victor's just come up with this little gem. I bet every goal scored against us. Doesn't care who it is. I mean,
fair.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
Pay for your ticket, do whatever you want.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the other bit that I want to point out from this game is our quality from set pieces at the moment.
Yes. So good.
So I think it was the Birnbaum goal, and Devon just pipes up about, or was it Dave? One of the two, just piping up about how good we've been from set pieces recently.
Well, we scored on the corner previously as well. 2 of our goals in that game came from set pieces.
Gressel puts that ball in, and you just Birnbaum just phrase I love saying, leapt like a salmon. And just nods it over the top of the keeper, and it's just
free headers on that set piece as well. Because Donovan Bynes was shadowing Birnbaum, and if Birnbaum wasn't there, Bynes would have been there. That was a well-designed set piece. That was beautiful, completely well worked, and the ball was on a silver platter.
Yeah, I mean they've been doing it all season. It's like what a flip from what our set pieces were like before. I mean, we're
getting the best out of Gressel. And that's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah.
We're getting the TAM player that we extended him to be.
Yeah, Gressel this season has been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yes, it was
outside of DC United circles, of course.
Yeah. People were complaining because he wasn't getting the assists at the start of the season, but that was because Kamara just wasn't doing great, and we didn't have anyone at the top who wasn't putting the ball in the net. But as soon as one goes in, then everything just starts kicking off, and then you look at
for second in assists after the Cincy game. I haven't checked since, but it's 3 assists that MLS credits him with. Some apps will credit Flores with the third one because I guess it bounced off. It took a deflection off of Flores, which fell to Areola.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. It was I didn't see it as a Gressel.
Flores deflection to Areola assist. So it's however you credit the deflection.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my eyes, on the MLS website, anyways.
Oh yeah, and that's how we take it officially. But for me, it wasn't an actual proper assist because it was a deflection. You can't really say that's
it's just secondary assist. Yeah,
one of those things. But yeah, we won 4-2, and that puts in good stead for this midweek game that we had against Minnesota. So same again. Let's just run through the stats on that. So we won 3-1. I predicted correctly because I'm amazing like that. Possession 54.4% to 45.6% of theirs. Shots 15 that we had. They only had 6. We had 5 on target to their 2 offsides to their no offsides. Shows how attacking they weren't. 14 fouls to their 15, so again quite even on that side. And then the big one, the expected goals, 3.5 to 0.3.
It's the
Wow.
umpteenth time DC United has held a team to under 0.5 goals and expected goals a game, which has just the unrated DC United defense, underrated DC United defense. Because if we think about it, there was that section in 2019, there were sections in 2018 where we were having long games without conceding.
Yeah.
But that's because we were playing effectively 5 to 6 at the back. Because
whoa. It was 10-0-0 formation.
Yeah, effectively. But yeah, it was because both Moreno and Canals were just effectively second level center backs, right?
Yeah.
You'd have
we did shark-layered teeth. We just
yeah, exactly.
Held up that.
We'd have Birnbaum and Brion, and then sitting right above them, just barely above them, would be Moreno and Canals, and then sitting right next to them would be like Mora and whoever was healthy on the right hand side.
It was like, good luck.
Yeah.
It's we got the short straw.
And we had great spells of shutouts and clean sheets, but we were never good attacking. Never.
It just reminds me of the game that we had against NYCFC, where we didn't have a shot on goal.
Yeah.
At home. That was horrendous.
And then
there was the game against Montreal, wasn't there, where we won 1-0.
Yeah.
But we had one shot.
Or the Red Bull game where we won 1-0 and we got Armas fired for the first time. But that was our first shot on target the entire game, and it came in the 96th minute from an outside of the box deflected shot from Eric Sorga.
Right.
What a goal! I think that was actually the 98th minute. That one.
Yeah, so it was beyond 90, well beyond 90, extra time. We were in overtime. It wasn't added time. It was
added time. It was added time of added time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I remember watching that, and the added time. I think it was 6 minutes of added time was supposed to have. Then we somehow got a call, and I'm thinking, come on, if we can get something from this, that's just gonna. I
was in the same boat. I was like, oh, this is the one. This is where it has to happen. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen here, and then it did.
Yeah.
But what's been crazy is how the defense has actually turned around this year. If you look at some of the early goals we gave up this year, our defense was just overloading one side and getting caught out on a very easy counter. A couple results that come to mind were. The first goal we conceded to NYCFC of the season, right? The first goal of the season we lost. Yeah. We gave up to NYCFC. The person who scored it was just acres of open space around him because the entire defense had just shifted to the opposite side of the field. And, the Atlanta goal, the Martinez goal, where everybody thought it could have been offsides is because everybody just pushed up. But now things have clicked. The defense is acting as its own unit as well. And we've gotten really good at understanding when our attacking center backs want to make runs that somebody in the midfield is going to drop back and cover. Yeah. Whoever that may be, but it's been really nice to watch. It's been really good quality formations. Yeah.
I think that it's driven by the consistency that we've had in the lineup recently as well.
Yep.
Because without that consistency, you're not going to get
the injuries,
build up of the team chemistry, and things from this game. I'm guessing you both were at the game against Minnesota.
Yeah. I was not because work was.
It's the end of the fiscal year. Understandable.
Yeah.
I watched, but I was working basically the whole time.
Understandable. End of the fiscal year. Can't blame you there.
I love October. Let me tell you. I love October.
I mean, for us, it's just another October.
Yeah. Look at you, bank holidays. Ooh.
Oh,
bank holidays.
I've actually managed to enjoy them for the first time this year ever in my working career because working in retail, you just never got them off.
No.
Yeah. Because
you don't get holidays off. You work in retail. What are you talking about?
Damn. The only 2 days we had closed every year when I first joined the company I'm in at the moment was Christmas Day and Easter Sunday. Every other day of the year we were open. So New Year's Day we'd have maybe 10 people walk through the door.
Yeah,
why? I mean, granted, it's usually to buy fun that they lost on on New Year's Eve, but
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about my work. That game. So the first thing I've got on this list, which was pretty spectacular to see, especially from the highlights, was the Donnie Bynes bicycle attempt.
If that had gone in, goal of the year, goal of the century, goal of the competition, 25 years long competition. If Donovan Bynes had pulled up all 6'5" of himself to invert it and hit a bicycle kick, I don't know what I would have done. I don't have an answer.
Tom, what would you have done?
I mean, I just think about like how massive of a person he is, and to even in his head be like bicycle kick.
Why shouldn't I just use my head? I'm going to use my whole body. Yeah.
I'm literally going to flip myself upside down and try to kick it. And you know what? Power to him. Great. I love it.
My initial reaction was, oh, Ola Kamara must have tried a bicycle kick because they're wearing the same cleats. And I saw the orange of the bottom of the boot. And I remember Ola's been trying spectacular things like since 2020 when he couldn't get anything going to begin with. And I'm like, oh, Ola just attempted a bicycle. And then I saw Bynes stand up and I was like, huh? Because I was in the Chico stand. It was on the opposite side of the field. There were players in my way. I saw a flash of orange. And I went, oh, that must have been Kamara. And then Bynes gets up and I'm like, wait a second. That almost went in.
That's not your job.
The ball only missed by like a foot.
It wasn't far away.
It wasn't far off. I mean, and the goalie was nowhere near it. That's the other thing. The goalie was not near that ball. That would have gone in. If it was on target, it would have gone in.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't particularly too impressed with their keeper, but the only bit that was impressive was when we had the penalties. Because you look at both times, and I think this is where Kamara's going to get found out now when he's taking penalties. It's the fact that he does take his time and he's slow, and the keeper just waited until it was Kamara who took the penalty rather than it being the keeper moving first. I think that's where Kamara just needs to switch it up a little bit. Yes, do the stutter every so often, but don't do it every single time, and that's what he's been doing. And that's his first penalty miss since 2017.
Yeah,
that's a good record.
5-6 years since he's missed a penalty. We got to give him some credit where credit's due. I don't know how long he's been taking the stutter step with it, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So and he hit both of his penalties in the last midweek game before this. So doing the stutter step, both of them started.
Oh yeah, I mean he's scored plenty of penalties doing it this year so far.
Yeah, I think the major issue is he went both direct. He went the same direction both times. And the second time where he went the exact same direction, he put it more towards the middle than he did the first one.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, it was a poorly struck penalty.
Yeah,
I was not.
Yeah,
and if you're going to stutter step, you got to hit it right. That's the other thing. The reason you're taking a stutter step is to set up a good shot.
Yeah,
so if you stutter,
you're waiting for the goalie's reaction. The goalie literally just waited.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it was like, and I think I made a comment about it. That stutter step and that save was when like Bill saved the penalty against Joseph Martinez last year or the year before. No, not last year, the year before, when he was doing the hop, skip, and the jump, and he just waited, and then Martinez skied it. So Victor says, didn't he go right for the first time on the penalties, Kamara?
Well, they were both in the first half, right? So it was right where I was sitting because I was in the Chico stand. So it was right in front of me. And both of them went, if I'm looking at the net, from the Chico stand. So like towards my camera right now. It went to, and again, it's mirrored, so I have to do the opposite. It went here. So I guess if I'm standing at Ola looking at the penalty spot, it went to the, they both went to the right. I don't think the first one went to the left. I think the keeper went to the left.
I'm confused now. I'd have to watch the.
If I'm in Ola Kamara's shoes and I'm taking the penalties, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the goal.
Went to the right.
The ball went to the right both times. The first time the keeper went to the left and he made the keeper go the opposite direction that the ball went. The second time he kind of stayed there, and then the ball, which if it had been in the corner, the keeper who had hesitated wouldn't have been able to get to anyways.
Yeah.
He put it a yard away. So the keeper, all he had to really do was like bend over and pick it up because it wasn't even hit with that much pace either.
David just said,
doing the start step.
Yeah, David just saying, I hope it doesn't mess with him too much that he missed the PK. And that was a little question that he did mention in the DCUK group chat, which was he was asking, how will the PK miss impact Kamara? Will he dust it off and return to form, or will it set him back?
Probably.
I mean, I don't think he's going to be too worried. It's just one of those things that
he hit one in the beginning of the game, right?
Yeah.
If that was the only chance that he had all game, I'd be worried. Probably
not the way he's going this year, but
yeah. And again, his first penalty miss since 2017. At some point, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather it be in a game where he's already taken. I'd rather it be in a game where he's already taken a penalty and he scored it, so he knows, looking back at the film, I know what I'm doing. Like, he can go back and go, I know what I'm doing. I'll be all right.
He can look back at it and say that was just a poorly. It wasn't a case of it was a great save or anything. It was just right. I've not hit that right. I know what I can do. I know how to improve.
I don't think he'll get the yips out of this, so he'll be all right.
Yeah. Tom, anything you want to add to that?
Same thing. I don't think it will matter too much.
Yeah. Next bit, which is the bit that I'm eager to talk about, which is the fact that Moreno scored his first goal for the club. Fantastic. But the bit that I want to really mention about is the blonde thing that's happening within the team right now.
The bleach boys.
The bleach blonde. So it started off with, I mean, technically it was Alfaro who bleached his hair, but it wasn't quite the blonde. Then Nahar goes and does it because Alfaro's told him to do it after he scored his first goal. Ariola's gone and done it, and I don't know whether that was after his first goal or not of the season. But now, Felipe's gone and done it after he scored his goal. So does that mean Junior Moreno is going to turn up in Florida this week? I need to look at Instagram because I've not done that yet. Is look at the stories and see if Moreno's got blonde hair.
So,
or are they going to keep him out of the limelight until he walks out on the pitch?
Let's give credit where credit's due. One of the multiple admins that DC United have, Roy Modella, has been credited with starting the whole bleach trend. I believe Sam Legg tweeted that out.
Yes, Rory Maeda,
yeah. Yes, it's all on him. Blame him. If you have hate towards it, send it his way.
Rory, I love you to bits, but come on,
hey, anything that gets the guys going like this, right? If you're a DC sports fan, you sat through Baby Shark in 2019, and look what happened, right? The Nationals won the World Series, and it was every game, multiple times a game, 3 times a game. Parra would get up to bat, and Baby Shark would just go. Done. And I'm sure Tom will be back when he feels like
yes. I'm hearing Baby Shark every single day at the moment with my kid.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Really, really annoying.
Now picture that every day, 3 times a day for baseball. Right.
I mean, I would take 3 times a day right now.
That's fair. But it was a great run of time. And it ended up with the Nationals winning a World Series. So if this is our Baby Shark, I'm cool with that. I'm not saying what the Nationals did is anything to expect out of this, but anything that keeps a locker room together, anything that keeps the guys pushing towards a common goal, it's a distraction from the standings. It's a distraction from the results. But yeah. And now Tom's in the.
Tom's in the chats. I mean, Victor hopes the whole team does it, even Lasada.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, if we win MLS Cup,
I've already said this.
You're going to do it.
I said it in the DC United supporters group. I said it. If it happens, I'm doing it. Tom did too, I might add. So
it's true. Yeah, we've got proof that
I have the receipts.
I mean, Tom's computer quit for the weekend. Oh well,
that's
so
okay, Tom. It's understandable. Fine. It's Friday.
We'll allow it. Yes,
it's close to Saturday for you.
I mean, it's less than an hour away.
Yeah,
from the week from Saturday. Jesus, right. Anyway, let me go back to the show notes. The other bit.
While you're doing that, David, you're right. 17 players have scored this year for DC.
Yes,
which is great.
Yes,
it really shows how rotational and how the system's coming along, right? Especially because considering 29 out of the 30 roster players have played this year as well at some point, or started or something like that. We're seeing a lot of like we're seeing consistent high quality soccer out of our depths of depths.
Everyone.
Yeah, depths of players, and that should tell you how united this team is. For pardon the pun, right? But it shows what Losada's been able to do in the quick turnaround this year, and I'm very excited to see what he does this offseason with a full offseason and with a fully stocked front office now. In terms of like higher up players, so higher up.
It's an exciting time. Let's put it that way.
It's a great time to be a DC United fan. I'll say that. I'm very 100%. Happy that we're all here before the people all start showing up. The bandwagon's coming, guys. Just be happy we got on before everyone else.
Exactly. Even Ross. I mean,
Oh, don't tell that to Ross. he's gonna call you shite because he's Scottish.
It's all right. I'll just deep fry something for him. Oh, that's sorry. Batter it and then deep fry it. There we go.
Hey, as an American, there is nothing wrong with deep frying something. State fair season was like a month ago, so.
Oh dear, was everything deep fried there? Was it?
Oh, state fairs are you probably don't have state fairs, but yeah, you could talk to when Daniel's back on. Ask him because South Dakota probably has a wicked one.
Yeah,
because the Midwest and the Midwest states have gigantic state fairs where you can get anything under the sun deep fried. Like I think there's a place, one state fair you can get a deep fried Coca-Cola. Like, yeah, don't ask me how. I don't know. I don't have an answer. But it's a thing. Weird. It might just be like Coca-Cola funnel cake. That might be what it really is. But like that's how they market it. Yeah. Like they do deep fried Oreos. They do deep fried like Twinkies, which yeah.
I know what a Twinkie is. I've seen Family Guy.
They are delicious. Don't knock until you try.
I think there's a couple of places. I think there's a place in the town that I live in that actually sells those.
Probably. I mean,
we've got a place that does imported
you have an American section. I bet
there is an American section. That's where I usually get my root beer from.
Yeah, well, that's because
I do love a root beer.
That's an American
I do love a root beer.
They don't do that over there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You had Takis yet, James? Have you ever had a Taki? Have you ever had a Taki?
Speaking of
American, yeah, it's a Latin American snack. It's a spicy chip. Like a tortilla chip that's been rolled into like a straw. They are delicious.
Ooh.
Yeah. Next time you're in DC, you're having some.
Yeah, fair.
You're gonna have some.
Fair. I mean, speaking on that, looks like it's gonna be next year, probably May time.
Awesome. Fantastic. We're gonna wait till the schedule comes out, right?
Yeah, well that's it. We're gonna wait until then. But yes, next year is definitely on the cards. So just stay tuned for that one. Albert says deep fried butter.
Hey, Senor Albert, because he's from the Twitter as well. I haven't had that. If you have, send me a link. But I'm sure butter tastes good.
Butter does taste, but there's only so much you can take.
Right. Probably like a mozzarella stick.
Yeah. I actually had mozzarella sticks today, believe it or not. Oh, that's bloody comical. Right. Anyway, back to football. Because, it is a football show. This weekend, Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, big game.
Big game.
So,
very
Saturday
important
or Sunday, depending on where you are. Kicking off at 7:38 p.m. Eastern Time. 38 minutes past midnight over here. 1:38 in European time, 2:38 Turkey time, 8:38 in Brazil, and then West Coast, whatever time that is.
Earlier.
Yeah.
4 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 4:38, 5:38. Central.
You guys get to watch in the evening. Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel, it's 6:38 kickoff. So yeah.
An hour before or after that.
I think we've got all the time zones covered there, just by shouting loads of numbers.
The sun never sets on the DC United Kingdom Empire.
It does not. We're all over the place. I think the furthest field we've got is Myanmar.
Wow. And yeah.
Yeah.
That would cover all of it, I think.
Yeah. And I think, well, a mate of mine who was living in, is he still living out there? Living in Korea, watched a few games over the last couple of years. Not an official member or anything, but he still does follow the team, so that's always cool.
I remember reading an article a while back about there's a lot of people in India who support Major League Soccer because it's like the same thing that you guys have. It's like the nightlife type deal. People are just up late, and they like the jerseys and the badges and stuff. So this is before like the Indians Premier League or the Indian Super League or whatever they call it over there.
Oh, that was just that was just a bad thing to have done.
Yeah,
because that's already. I think that's already folded.
Well, no, I watched an Indian soccer.
Yeah, they've still got the
Yeah.
league, but the Super League part of it, where it was just all about the money, that folded, and it's just now just back to the old system.
ESPN Plus had some sort of Indian soccer that I watched at a very early time while I was in school doing work. So
yeah, when you should have been doing work.
I was doing work, and I saw the biggest sitter of my life missed, only for it to go the other way, and then in that team losing because they didn't take the shot when they should have taken the shot. It was a very Wanchope-esque sitter. The guy like gets the wide open net and then passes, goes to square it, and it gets intercepted, and the other team goes the opposite direction to score on the other side. Right. And like I was like, you are so dumb.
Oh dear. That's brilliant. Hector in the chat has just said Orlando will be tough, but the momentum of DC will help. And that's the kind of thing I want.
There's a huge momentum thing going on here. This is going to be a very big momentum game because DC is what? We haven't lost since the Atlanta game, so that's 2 on the trot.
So we are currently 4th in form in the Eastern at the moment.
Yeah.
Orlando have only won. They've won 2 in the last 10.
Yeah. Did they win the last game they played?
No, they drew.
So then that'll be 6 games without a win.
They had, I think it was I don't think they've won in 5. I think the 6th match they won.
It was a 5-game losing streak going into their midweek where they drew. So it'll be 6 games without a win for Orlando.
So they're going to be really wanting to get something out with this one because I think, not officially, but there is kind of a bit of a rivalry building between the two teams, especially after.
It's a weird rivalry, right?
Yeah.
Like, so Orlando has a knack for injuring DC players over the past couple of years.
Yeah, Mora usually
breaking his jaw. I believe Birnbaum picked up an injury against Orlando at one point.
I think
Rooney got two-footed by Dom. Rooney got two-footed by Dom Dwyer.
Yeah.
For a red card that sent him off.
Yeah.
And the big
Chris McCann got injured as well.
Chris McCann was a flash in the pan from Atlanta for like 20 seconds. He played. He was on the roster in 2019. But the big one is in a preseason game that was not televised, so we have no idea what happened.
Yep.
Paul Arriola gets tackled and is out for the season with an ACL tear against Orlando City in a preseason game.
Yeah.
A preseason friendly.
Yes.
So, having not seen the clip, because nobody has seen the clip, nobody except for like Stephen Goff, who was there. Yeah. Nobody knows what happened, but Paul Arriola ended up with a torn ACL, and that's probably the biggest nail in the coffin so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in terms of other things that we've got on there, so they're currently 7th in the Eastern, so bottom side in the playoffs at the moment, but there is only 1 point between everyone, it feels like.
Yeah. Hector's correcting me. It was a 4-game losing streak before the Nashville draw. But Albert also points out that Orlando actually came back for that draw. Yeah. They came back from 2 goals, I believe, to draw it at 2 apiece.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3 apiece, somewhere in that range. But they came back from a 2-0 deficit.
So I'm sure it finished 2-2.
Yeah, if we're being honest, that's the team that's tracking on the up.
Yeah,
that's confidence that they can. If they had lost 2-0, it'd be a completely different ball game, momentum wise. But they can rest easy on the fact that they came back from 2-0. So and let that be known to DC guys because they were away at Nashville as well. As I remember seeing.
To be fair, Nashville are known for drawing at home, though.
That's true. That's very true. And DC are known for losing away. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. Reverse result, as we know, was a 1-0 defeat to Orlando.
Yes, one of
But I do
one of
wanna
the rare home defeats.
Rare home defeat, but I want to point out that things were so different back then.
Very much so. And it was a 1-0 game where the second Orlando went up 1-0, they
they hunkered down.
They stopped playing. Yeah.
They went full Jose Mourinho.
Yes, it was Losada in his post game went very annoyed at the Orlando coach and team in general about how they just didn't want to play soccer after the loss. So.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much time wasted, and they put literally 11 men behind the ball. It was horrendous to watch. So, yeah, it was just really, really poor. Right, so other things that we had on there. So, MLS head-to-head record. It's very even.
Yeah.
Both sides have won 6 and drawn 1.
Yeah. It's a dead even heat, and that is where the rivalries kind of get made. You know, people talk about who's DC's second rival. Who's DC's that? Who's DC's this? I don't really rate Orlando highly on that, but I know a lot of people who don't like Orlando because of the injuries in the past. That being the main reason.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just there is something about it. I mean, obviously, the fact that we had Rooney scoring 3 amazing goals against them in 3 different games. Well, sorry, 2 amazing goals and set up the third.
Right.
Keep forgetting he was the setup on that one. But yeah, it's
Lucho Acosta's biggest contribution to DC United was that goal. And that's it.
Yes.
You can't argue anything else.
No, not at all. I mean, looking at some of the things that are on sort of the website that I posted a link to in the notes. So we've conceded over half a goal a game in 79% of our matches away from home.
We're probably not going to keep a clean sheet.
I don't think there's not going to be a clean sheet in this one.
It's Daryl DK. It's Donnie. This is a game where our back line is going to be tested, specifically
massively,
Nahar. The reason I say Nahar over Bynes and Birnbaum is because if DK is smart, he'll look at Nahar being 6 inches smaller, weighing 100 pounds less, because Daryl DK is built like a middle linebacker. He is just gigantic. And strong, and he knows how to use his body, and that's why he succeeded in the championship.
Yeah, that's the league that fits him so perfectly.
Right. And so because of that, we'll probably see the Andy Nahar, Daryl DK matchup a bunch.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got Donnie. I'm pretty sure he's healthy.
Yeah, I've got their injury list up.
He's not on it, right?
He's not on it now.
We're going to have to deal with that too. Nani will probably line up on the other side and play Bynes and Bree. I'm assuming it's not going to be Briant because DK's also got speed.
Please don't let it be Briant.
We'll see how rotated the squad is, but Losada should understand the importance of this in particular match.
Yeah, absolutely. So for them, the players that they've got out. So Pato, who's played 20 minutes all season,
he's disappeared. Yeah. Pato has disappeared. The DK replacement, and that's probably why they didn't move on from DK in the first place, is because Pato had disappeared.
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Chris Mueller, that's a big player for them to have missing out.
Yes.
He's
going to Scotland in the when the window opens.
Yes. Yep.
I forget which team. I think it's like Hibernian or something.
Hibernian.
Hibernian. Yeah.
Yep.
I had a big discussion on Scottish Twitter when that transfer went through.
Yeah, that was
my name. I was the American whose name was Angus.
Yeah. Joey Desart, I don't know who he is, and Uri Russell as well are all likely to miss out through injury, and Rodrigo Schlegel is suspended.
Well, any suspended player is a good player for us, I guess.
Yeah, it means that they're usually your starter. So
yeah,
and it's for yellow card accumulation.
Yeah. Oh, yellow card. Yeah, then he's definitely a starter that they're going to be missing.
Yeah,
so that's good. So, it'll be a weird game. I think personally, and this is my score prediction for the game. It'll be 2-1.
Yeah,
I think it'll be 2-1. I think DC will win.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's a rare road win, yes, but I think that we understand the importance of this game.
Yeah.
It's not nationally televised, which means the ref will be fair. It'll be on the website. Watch on the website, guys. If you're in the zone, if you're not in the zone, VPN in or what. Do what you need to do.
I'll share a link to a VPN if you've not got one.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the international broadcasts are in particular. I know that
for
every
us,
country
there's
seems
nothing.
to have it. Yeah.
So I will be legally watching the game, VPNing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get that one.
Yeah.
So if you need hints and tips, anyone out there on how to watch the game, do just drop me a line. Head over to on Twitter. Where are we? DC United Kingdom, or on Facebook and Instagram. You can also message me on there as well. So just let me know, and I will give you some hints and tips on how to get on watching this game. Let's go back to that. So you're saying 2-1 for this
I'm
one?
saying 2-1.
Yeah.
I don't know who the goal scorers are because, as David pointed out in the second part of his question that we didn't really talk about, was the injury to Kamara. He was hobbling at the end of the game.
I didn't see that, but
I didn't see it either. But multiple people have said he was hobbling, so I'm assuming he picked up a small knock. I don't think it'll hamper him in his playing time, but if we see a bit more Robertha, I wouldn't be adverse to a Robertha goal because that guy as well he finds the hole in the defense. Two of his 3 goals this year have come from beautiful over-the-top through balls.
Yep.
And he's just timed his run great.
Yeah.
And he finds the hole and he finds the pocket of space and it's there.
And he knows how to actually properly finish as well, which has been great.
Yes.
You look at his first goal that he scored, where he just fired it into the top corner.
I saw that. I was right above that goal when it went in because I was at the game at Red Bull Arenas. It was a beautifully placed ball from Moses and an even better finish. It's one of those ones where I didn't even register the pass because I was so focused on the shot.
Yeah.
And then I watched the replay and I was like, oh my God, that was just beautiful. The whole sequence.
Yeah. Everything was just absolutely spot on with that. So
he's showing why we spent $1 million on him.
Yeah.
He can also hit a free kick. So assuming, he comes back next year with the same fire that we've seen from Kamara this year, we could have multiple options on free kicks. And that could spell, because everybody's starting to, the set pieces, while we're still finding a lot of goals on them, and I think we might still find one this weekend on it, people are starting to key in on the set pieces. But, adding that extra element of a whole nother set piece taker is going to be, is just going to add the levels and the layers and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. My score prediction, same as your 2-1. I think it's going to be a tight game.
It's going to be very close. And I think Albert has some good, solid, worries about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last 30 minutes, DC's we're a hard-running team. Yeah. And if our subs if we don't use our subs, because look, the last 30 minutes against Cincinnati, we were up 3-0 going into half, and we used 3 of our 5 subs at halftime. Which is fine. And I still think that the second goal against Cincinnati probably wouldn't have happened had Bynes not been put on the island that was halfway between Briant and halfway between Griffin Yao. It's just hard as a center back to have to deal with somebody who doesn't really know how to defend, and then somebody who doesn't have the athletic abilities to get back and defend, although he can defend when he's back there. But it'll be, if we use our subs right, again, coming off, both teams played at midweek.
Yep.
One was at home at the midweek, and that could give us a little bit more of the edge, whereas Orlando had to travel to Nashville, which isn't too far from Orlando. It's not the furthest away game they could have had. It's not the closest either. But, it's still a bit of travel. Travel is travel.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one to call. I could easily see us winning 2-1 as I can see us losing 2-1 as I could see us drawing 2-2 or 1-1.
Yeah.
But the optimist in me wants to pick maximum points because that's what we need for the standings. And I'm not gonna fade my own team.
No. My name's not Daniel.
No. Although I'm sure he'd be saying this is gonna be a 3-2 thriller and DC's gonna be on the sad end of it again.
Yeah.
Just like we were against their arch rivals in Orlando.
Yeah. Oh, probably. Tom,
the arch rivals in Orlando being Atlanta, for those who don't know.
Come on. So Tom has put his prediction in on the notes. He says 3-1.
I'm assuming
that is optimistic.
That's a very optimistic. Although, I'm looking at this game and I'm going, I could see that happening too.
Well, yeah, that's it.
But
It's
the major issue I have with DC only conceding 1 in that situation is DK, right?
Yeah.
DK against a small, undersized center back in Andy Nahar.
Yeah.
I love Andy Nahar. He is a team of the week player. He's a best 11 player in my book.
Yeah.
The value, he's the most money to statistical defender. He's the best one in the league. He's a DP level player playing at $200,000 a year, $100,000 a year, something stupid like that.
Yep.
But he does not match up well against the 6 foot something, 200 pounds something train that is Daryl DK. He is a Mack truck waiting to hit the hole.
Yeah.
However, if Birnbaum's playing in the middle, it all depends, right? This is such a toss-up of a game. And that's what's crazy about the East this year, right? There's a point in between us in the standings, but there's 5 points. There's 5 positions between us in the standings.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We've got a prediction come through in the chat. Let's put that on screen. So David sees a 3-2 for DC, Roberta, Bynes, and Paredes.
I'm assuming that goes into Dave's idea that Kamara is more injured than both of us think, which fair. I don't know.
It's it. There's not. I don't remember seeing any press conference either.
I think it happened today, and I haven't looked at it, but the injury report should have come out today as well.
Yeah.
Although Dave's saying they think they rest Kamara, that could happen too. But if you look at the reason Kamara's minutes to goals are the way they are is because he's been getting rest all year long. And so if there's any time
he keeps getting subbed off once he scored.
Or at the beginning of the season when he just wasn't playing.
Yeah.
If there's any time where you want it, Kamara is soccer young this year. And if there's any point where you need your golden boot caliber striker to play, it's in probably the most important regular game of the season. And I hate hyping that up in that way because it's only going to make it. It's only going to make it. It's only going to jinx it. My heart's going to get ripped out tomorrow evening, and I'm just going to be sad. Right? I know that. That's what's going to end up happening here. But I'm too much of an optimist to not feel that way. So
Cool. Right. Fun questions because we've already answered David's. So we've got another one that came in through on Instagram, which was this. So Victor, who has been up in the chat, has asked, do any players deserve more game time?
Moses Nyman.
That's a fair answer.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's your answer. That Griffin Yao would deserve more game time if we didn't have Yordi Reyna.
Yeah.
The issue with Griffin Yao is he is playing in a very rich position, which is winger. And what we've seen is he can't defend. And he's 19, 18. He doesn't know how to defend. Paredes is a much better suited to play the left wing back than Griffin is to play right wing back.
Yep.
And when you've got the trio of wingers in Areola, Flores, and Reyna, you're never going to find yourself in a situation where you're going to need to put in Yao as well.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
It sucks for him because he's just out the back in order.
Yeah. Moses came in on the wing on Wednesday, and he still played well. He played great. He had a great couple of passes in the 5 minutes he got. And that's the first 5 minutes we've seen out of Moses Nyman in a month. I would love to see Moses get more gameplay, but I don't think he matches up great against Orlando either because of his size. He's just small. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are plenty of great center midfielders who are short. It's just for the team we're playing, the way this game matches up, we need somebody to win the aerial duels against their Daryl DK. And I hate saying that because it's like, you're only focusing on one player. When you focus on one player, when there's 9 other outfield players, 10 if you count the goalie, right? But he is their striker. He's their focal point for the attack. It goes from Donnie to DK.
Yeah.
And he scored.
But then,
did he
I
score
think in
the
reverse fixture, Moses played, and I'm sure he had Nani in his back pocket quite a lot of that game.
Yeah, and I see that, right? But that was when Moreno wasn't on form.
Yeah, true.
Because Moreno was dealing with, he's had a rough year personally.
Yeah.
You also look at DK didn't play that game, I don't believe.
No, because he was on loan at Barnsley.
He was still on loan. And he came back and he went to the Gold Cup immediately.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and he had basically played a full year, and he picked up the shoulder injury in the Gold Cup, so he didn't play for a month after that. So this is our first look at the monster that scored. I don't know how many goals he scored last year, but he was up in the Golden Boot race as a rookie coming out of UVA.
Yeah.
So, and you look at how the Super Draft normally works, where our 2 Super Draft picks are. Might I add, both of them came out of the ACC, so both of them played Daryl DK while they were at college as well.
Fair.
So you can't say, oh, it was the division they played in. Oh, it's the team they played for. No. They all played in the same league, basically, even though college soccer is just weird. Don't even get me started. The clock counts up, so it counts down from 45. Yeah, so they put 45 on the board. It counts down to 0. There's no added time. And then if it's a tie game, they play golden goal overtime without a clock, I don't believe. Yeah.
Okay, that's just weird.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think there might be they put 45 up on the board again, but I think it's very hard for an NCAA game to end in a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's weird.
They count down. So they started at 45, and instead of the traditional count up, they count down.
Very strange. Very
strange. My brother, who's at Virginia Tech and who was across the street from the soccer field when he was living on campus, went to a few games and was like, "Yeah, it's just weird."
That's fair. Yeah, I don't even want to go down that road. So
yeah.
So I think to answer Victor's question, it should be Moses Nyman.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yep.
It sucks that Yamil Assad has fallen off the way he has. I know people were talking about that.
Yes, yeah.
Hector mentioned it.
Yeah.
It sucks because he was almost revolutionary last season at that CDM role. But it's so weird to say this. DC United has such a plethora of riches in the midfield.
We do, yeah.
The center of the midfield, the winger, whether you want to call him an attacker or a midfielder, it doesn't matter. We got a lot of them.
Yeah. We're well stocked everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week too, and where do we need to add depth? And to go back to that, thinking about it more, we need a right wing back badly.
Yeah.
Probably going to need a left back as well because Mora doesn't play the same as Paredes.
No,
and we need for this system we need Paredes.
We need a more of an attacking wing back.
Mora
rather
is
than
great off the bench to shut games down.
Yeah.
And that is evident by when he came on for Paredes in the Cincy game, because I believe he got on in the Cincy game and the Minnesota game. But either way, all the goals seem to come from the right-hand side after that.
Yeah.
We need – and the right back is even more dire because we have Gressel. Because COA is hurt. Chris is hurt.
Yeah.
And he's been hurt all year. And he's a good third option for wing back. But Yao doesn't do it. Not yet, anyways.
The only other player,
Paul could play there in a pinch. He's played there before.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Paul could do it.
But he's already on the field.
Yeah.
So.
But then saying that, if Paul was having to play right wing back, then Griffin could. Yeah,
but that's a weird sub, especially because, you've been playing the whole game forward and attacking.
Yeah.
To then pivot to defend is very hard. I would assume you also have to prep differently as well.
Yeah. But it's something that it's doable, but it's not
very doable. And in a pinch, it will work.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
We need, if we're going to use roster spots appropriately this offseason, let's target backup wing backs and maybe even move on from Moore, maybe sell him down the road because he's not a bad player.
Yeah.
Not a bad player at all.
No, that's all. But sometimes you just have to.
Sometimes you just don't.
You have to make that hard decision.
It doesn't work in the system, and it's sad because I like Mora. I've always liked him.
Yeah.
I think he was. I think he was under Ben one of the better left backs in all of MLS.
Yeah, I think he's certainly more suited to a 4-back formation rather than the 3-back.
And especially because he's a lot better when going forward. He's a lot better in that 4-back because he's more. He doesn't have to beat people on the dribble, and he just has to put a ball in.
Yeah.
Whereas Paredes can do all of that, but also beat someone on the dribble.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Right. I think we've gone through everything that we need to. So come to a lovely. Oh, actually, no, we need to open your packs.
Yes, I've got three MLS
packs.
soccer packs here.
Yes.
Some trading card packs that I will be opening right now. Yesterday, and this will be the wrap up. So if you have any more questions, put them in the chat, and we'll probably talk about it while I open these. But yesterday I pulled a 1 of 10, so it was 4 of 10 actually. Raul Ruidiaz insert, so that's pretty cool. There aren't a whole lot of DC United players because they don't do every single player in Major League Soccer just because the lineups change so much.
Okay.
But we'll see. So there are some cool inserts. I pulled a vintage Claudio Reyna New York Red Bulls card. It's kind of cool because he's Gio Reyna's dad, but at the same time, it's like, it's a Red Bull player.
Yeah.
Right. So I've opened the first pack, and here we go. So this is the first card. It'll be... I can't read it. It's Darwin Quintero. Well, it's a sideways card. It's hard because the camera's also mirrored.
Reversed. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of them are sideways, some of them are regular. And they got Molina in the exact same position.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the two cards are in like the exact same position.
That's weird.
Yeah. Ooh, thoughts on Alfaro? Oh, so this is Austin FC's. So they do one card for each team, but normally it's like players on teams, but they have to make these the year before. So it's only going to be Austin because they didn't have a roster when the set was made.
That's very cool.
So yeah, we'll probably see another stadium card or another team card at some point.
Fair.
But yeah.
Thoughts on Alfaro? He's a good depth player, but he's definitely not a starter for me.
Paxton Comical, under 22.
Nice.
And then a Pitch Prodigies Drew Yearwood. It's a rookie card, though, so that's kind of cool. And then a Pitch Prodigies Gabriel Salina, who's the Columbus, the Chicago Fire goalkeeper. So that's pack 1.
That's pack 1. Other things on Alfaro. He had a good start.
He's solid. He's solid. He's a solid depth piece. I wouldn't play him starting 11 every week in or week out, but he's good. I think he could be better.
Yes,
right? I think he puts in one too many long balls,
and he has the tendency to step out of position one too many times,
or get caught in a situation where he's keeping a player on side where he shouldn't be.
Yep. So your second pack.
Yep. We've got Ryan's Hollingshead to start.
Okay.
Is
that Minnesota?
Yes, it is John Grey Goose or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, so this is one of those. So this is a 1981 Alan Pulido. So this is an insert. So it's his normal card, but it's different because it's got the vintage soccer like boundary.
Okay. That's
and then
quite
the color of it makes it rarer to some extent. But I don't remember which one the green is associated with. I know red is 1 out of 10.
Fair.
Ayo Akinola, 22/22 rookie card.
Yeah.
Ideal backline for the rest of the season / playoffs. Hector's following up as well.
Yeah.
I think our ideal backline, assuming Brendan Hines is healthy, is Steve Birnbaum in the middle with Brendan Hines on the left because he's an actual left-footed center back, and Andy Nahar on the right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Donovan Pines being able to come off the bench in that situation is just going to be amazing.
Yeah, that I 100% agree on that one.
A Pitch Prodigies Traore for the LA Galaxy, and then a Pitch Prodigies who hadn't even played a game yet, it looks like. That's a very hard name to pronounce. Marshall Rudy is the last name. I don't want to butcher somebody's name live on a broadcast. And so we got one more pack here. If you got any more questions, let us know. The back line is like the non-penciled in part, right?
Yeah.
Because the back line's been the worst injury-plagued position all season.
It really has. It really has. Whether it's been Bill being injured or whether it's been Birnbaum, Pines, Nahar,
Brendan Hines.
Yeah. I think everyone in our backline's at some point been out. When was
Hines is supposed to come back? Early October is when Foot Mob has him coming back. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Good. The third pack starts off with third in the MVP race, supposedly according to MLS.com.
João Pedro. João Paulo, sorry.
João Paulo. I don't know how he's supposed to be third in the MVP race when Ola Kamara has more. Yeah.
Ideal
Another
front three.
That's harder. That's much harder. So Paxton Pomykal.
Kamara.
Kamara probably up top. Fabian Herbers.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is another
Areola.
cool one. So this is Daniel Shalloy,
Okay.
but it's the flag one. So I have the Gressel one as well of this, where it's Germany instead of Hungary.
Yeah.
But it's cool because he's also a homegrown player. So he has dual nationality, but he chose to represent Hungary over the US. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool out of Daniel Shalloy.
So Kamara, Areola. Who would I have on the left side?
Bruce Duke, pitch prodigies. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And then another Austin FC to close it out.
Fair. Who would you have on the left?
So it's your toss-up, right? Do you go with Reyna or do you go with Flores? And I think it is whoever's going hotter into the playoffs. And right now, that's Reyna.
Yeah.
Flores has been good. He's not been the DP level player that we want him to be, and we can talk about that as well. Oh, yep, Hector's right. We did play John Kempen. Yeah, because that was when Bill Hamid had the early season. He was coming back from the hernia surgery.
No, it wasn't Kempen. It was Seitz, wasn't it?
It was Seitz or Kempen. We were running the two of them. If it was if the Orlando game was after the San Jose game, then it was John Kempen. If it was before, it was probably Chris Seitz.
I'm on the website lineup. So here we go. It was eventually when it actually decides to load up.
Hector's about to get.
It was Kempen, yeah.
Let's say Hector's probably about to get vindication for his thing there. He's going to get proven right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But that left side, I gotta say it's Reyna right now. Flores is good. He's not DP good. We can talk about that all you want.
Yeah.
I think we need to step away from that conversation because we're not fixing that right now. We need to look at the roster, how it is, and we need to look at the starting 11, how it is. Yes, Flores should be better. He could be better, but he's not.
Yeah.
And we should just leave it at that.
Yeah. I think it depends on the type of team that we're playing as well.
I think that's a huge part of it as well.
Yeah. Because if it's a team that's got a slower backline, Reyna all day.
Yeah.
Because Reyna's got that pace. But if it's a team that needs unlocking with a special pass, then it would be Flores for me. That's how I would play it. So unless you bring on Flores when things are starting to look a little bit tougher and you need to have that fresh legs on there and someone to have that golden creation of that chance, but yeah, to me, it all depends on who we're playing and how the game is going as well, whether you swap them around or whatnot.
Currently, if we go with the standings as they exist,
yes,
our playoff game sitting in third would be against number 6 in the league in the Eastern Conference anyways, Atlanta United. So
but
that
we would be at home.
We would be at home. That would be in my opinion, that would be, to me, judging off the last Atlanta United game where Reyna was not available.
Yeah.
We'll preface it with that. But I would probably play Edison Flores in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you're looking at the teams around them and the teams that could still sneak in because 8th place is on 37 points. 9th place is on 34. And 10th is on 32. So there's an 8-point gap between us and 10th.
It's so bizarre this season. I love it.
Yeah. And then you look at the Western Conference and it's just not the same. There's still a very close race between like 5th and 10th. With 10th having 33 and 5th having 39. But then it's a 4-point gap to 4th at 43. And then it's another 5 points from 43 to 48 to get into the top 3 in the West.
Yeah, it's a bit more
I don't know where they're getting
decided.
All these. What's crazy to me is they're getting all these points, right? They have a lot more points than the East does. And maybe that's just because there are more teams in the West this year. I don't know. Because we don't have Charlotte yet. So I think there's an extra team in the West because of Austin.
There's 27 teams in total, isn't there, this year?
Is it 26 this year because we added Austin? I can't remember. Expansion years.
I think it's 27 and it goes up to 28 next year.
Okay, we'll see.
But yeah.
But toughest Eastern Conference team.
Yeah, we'll have this as the last question, and then we'll wrap things up. But yeah, toughest Nashville.
Yeah,
I know it's because they're second, but they are very tough team.
They're tough, but the East is just so dead close. They're only
Yeah.
6 points ahead of us at the moment.
Yeah.
So
But I
it's
think
just such a
for us, the toughest game we've had so far was in Atlanta.
yeah, and probably also. There's more teams in the East, but there's an odd number of teams in the West.
Yeah.
That's I don't know where they're getting all their points, to be honest. But they're averaging like over a point per game. There's multiple teams averaging more than 2 points a game in the West. There's like one in the East, and that's New England. And that could be a testament to how good the East is.
Yeah.
Or it could be a testament to how bad the East is. We don't know.
Yeah.
But the other tough opponent the DC's had was on the road against San Jose.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a tricky
New
one.
England's hard. The thing is I wouldn't even count New England as that hard of an opponent because, again, the 2 games we played against New England this year were not necessarily games where we were ever out of it.
Yeah.
I think when New England went up 3-1, they kind of put the game to bed. But
it was still close at that point.
Yeah, it still ended a goal difference.
Yeah.
And you're right, David. There might be more ties in the East, although DC has not had any of them. I think we've had, looking at the standings, we've had
3 or 4 draws,
4 ties,
12
wins, 4 ties, 11 losses.
Entertainment.
3 of those losses coming at home. The other 8 on the road. So
yeah,
2 more
just
games.
shows.
We'll see. Yeah, if we can pick up a win on the road this week, that'll make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
But
home form is clinical, but you need to get something on the road.
If I had to answer the question, probably either Nashville or maybe Atlanta. Yeah. And that's because Atlanta just matches up well with DC.
Yeah.
They've got very skilled, fast players. And when we played them last, we didn't. Because it was
Cool.
You're right, Hector. We did rotate the squad a lot, and that's 3-2 loss to New England. And we had Paul Arriola get injured, and we had John Kempen in, and the previous game we only lost 1-0 with a weird squad.
Yeah.
On a Brendan Hines-like own goal.
Yeah.
There have been 96 ties in the Eastern Conference, according to David.
That's crazy. Madness. Absolute madness.
Oh, yep. And Kempen in goal in the 3-2. And I believe if Bill was in, it probably would have ended 2-2. I'm willing to bet there was a goal somewhere in there, not remembering. I think Tajon Buchanan's goal, while amazingly taken off the volley, I believe.
Yes.
John Kempen for Bill Hamid there. I think Bill gets a hand to it.
Yeah, just quick reaction.
Pushes it. Yeah, the quick reaction saves. That's what Bill does best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cool. Right. No, 95 ties in the West.
95 ties in the West. So who knows where the points are coming from? Not me.
Who knows? Well, there we go. Let's end it there because we've gone on for an hour and 45, which is pretty epic, to say the least. So
pre-post and in-game coverage for
exactly. So
if you're having to watch the Orlando broadcast.
Yes.
Again, if you're watching Dave and Devin, turn that baby up all the way to 11.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to Orlando, just put us on instead.
Yeah.
You'll hear Tom for a bit too until his computer decided to quit for the weekend.
Yes. He's probably got Windows or something on his computer, I'd imagine. That's how it is. So that's it for today's show. Thank you, Angus, for being here for the full entire show.
Yeah. Anytime.
As if you're watching, you can see Angus's Twitter account there. But for those who are listening, where can people find you?
You can find me at the Twitter account below, AngusLong9, or on Instagram, Angus.s.long. No capitalizations in any of that. Follow me anywhere you want to follow me. If you want to see more, I guess, soccer-decided content, Twitter. If you want to see more life content, Instagram, which at the moment is soccer because we're in the season. But
soccer is life.
Football is life.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Follow me, please. Please do.
Yeah.
And if you want to reach out and talk more, shoot me a DM or something. I don't care. I love talking this stuff. So
yeah. Who doesn't love talking soccer when you're on a soccer podcast?
James, where can they find you?
Yeah, so on Twitter, look at this. It's coming up on screen right now.
Wow, blocking me out and everything.
I know, right? It is at DC United Kingdom. If you want to follow on Instagram or Facebook, it is at DC United Kingdom FC. As David mentioned earlier on in the show, if you want to become a member, hit us up, dcunitedkingdom.com/membership. And if you want to support the show in any other way, you can do. Just head to bio.link/DC United Kingdom. All those links are in the show notes, so do go and check those out. And before you go, please subscribe and like the video. And you can also click a bell, apparently down there somewhere.
And if you're listening to the podcast version of this on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, 5 stars.
Yes, 5 stars.
Give us what we got.
Yeah.
If you like it. If not, leave us an honest review so we can make it better.
Yeah, exactly. It's good feedback. Any feedback is good feedback.
Comment below if you're on the YouTube.
do something. And I love the fact that the live chat has been absolutely on fire. So thank you to everyone who's took part there.
Thanks again to everyone who showed up. And Ross, I love you, but like, you're from Scotland, not England. So how British are you?
Ouch. Ouch. And I was quarter Scottish. So I'm just going to leave it right there. So, but yeah. So there we go. That is it. We're down in Orlando.
When's the last time a Scottish team's won the Premier League? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. On that note, like I said, we're down in Orlando. Let's get those 3 points back to Audi. So on that note,